بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله أما بعد. I think there was a mix-up in communication between some of the brothers who invited me here and between the sheikh who just made that announcement. When I was originally requested and invited to come here, it was requested that I maybe deal with some of the ayat talking about the Ghazwa of Badr. And the war of Badr, no doubt, is a pinnacle war in the history of mankind, not to mention in the history of Islam. But I'm not from those people who like to make those munasabat. The only time we want to talk about the Jihad in al-Islam is on the 17th of Ramadan, only on the day that Badr happened. That's the time when we connect ourselves to the fiqh of jihad, or the kalam of jihad. And I mean the jihad, I'm talking about the jihad that's mashru', the jihad that's been legislated by Allah, not the fasad that a lot of people create and understand to be jihad. So when that iqtirah, or that idea was given to me, I said, no, I don't want to talk about that. Only because I don't believe in waiting only for the 17th of Ramadan to talk about Badr. As you all know, since we've been fasting in the month of Ramadan, Ramadan is a month obviously connected to fasting is the Qur'an. We're going to fast more because it's the month of Ramadan. So the person who's going to exist in Ramadan, he has to fast more, obviously. It's the month of fasting. But he also is going to read the Qur'an more as well. A person who is fasting in this month and he's not reading the Qur'an more, and he's not listening to the Qur'an more, then he's not understanding the real issue of Ramadan. His recitation of the Qur'an has to increase, and his listening to the Qur'an in this month has to increase, because both of those ibadah, they go together in this month. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he mentioned, قام رمضان إيمانا واحتسابا غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه. In the other hadith, he told the people sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, صام رمضان إيمانا واحتسابا غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه. So he mentioned the qiyam and the siyam this month, they go together. Just don't fast in the month of Ramadan and that's it. From the sunnah of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is that he fasts and he increases. He mentions sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, as-siyam wal-Qur'an yashfi'an lil-'abdi yawm al-qiyamah. يقول الصيام ربي إني منعته الطعام والشهوة بالنهار فشفعني فيه. ويقول القرآن ربي إني منعته النوم بالليل فشفعني فيه. So we mentioned the Quran and the Siyam, they go together. He said that Yawm al-Qiyamah, fasting and the Quran will intercede for the slave Yawm al-Qiyamah. You put them together. The Siyam is going to say, my Lord, I stopped him from eating during the day in Ramadan. I stopped him from having relationships. Someone can go home right now and he can have relationships with his wife, but he doesn't do it because of his iman in Allah Azza wa Jalla. So the Sawm prevented him from doing that. Jarima. And the Quran will come and say, my Lord, I stopped him from going to sleep at night. We're praying 11:30, 12:30. We finished the Salah in our masjid 12:30. We get home 1 o'clock. People, if it wasn't for the month of Ramadan, we would have been asleep a long time ago. In Birmingham, some of our masajid and our masjid, sometimes we combine Maghrib and Isha in days like this because it's so late. So tasheelan and takhfifan for the people, we combine Maghrib and Isha as the Nabi used to allow us sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But because it's Ramadan, the people want to be up 1 o'clock at night. So the point here is, too many adillah. They prove the Quran and Siyam. They go together in this month. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. وَمِنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ. It's because the Qur'an was revealed in this month, fasting has been legislated. The shahid of all that kalam. The Qur'an has to go with fasting. The person is not fasting, the person is not reading the Qur'an more, listening to the Qur'an more, he's not, something's wrong with his fast. I don't say that his fast is batil, but something's wrong with it. He's not fasting the fast of the sunnah of Abul Qasim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But those are not the only two ibadat that should increase in Ramadan. From the ibadat that are connected to the month of Ramadan is al-Jihad, fi sabilillah. Why do we wait till the 17th of Badr to get knowledge about al-Jihad? I'm a father, I have children, I have sons. It's my responsibility to sit my son down and to explain to him some of the ahkam of jihad, to explain to him what is the right understanding of jihad. I'm the first one who's responsible. If I don't do that as a father, my son is going to go out and he's going to listen to some crazy person talking, some jahil person talking, some young Muslim brother who doesn't know his elbow from his ankle bone in the religion. He's going to talk with Hamas, and then my son is going to go and do something crazy. It's my job to explain where jihad is in this religion, how it is, the fiqh of jihad, what's jihad. And I said, I'm going to only wait till the 17th of Badr. It's a problem. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Qur'an, وَلَقَدْ نَصَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ بِبَدْرٍ وَلَقَدْ نَصَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ بِبَدْرٍ وأنتم أذلة فاتقوا الله لعلكم تشكرون إذ تقول للمؤمنين ألن يكفيكم أن يمدكم ربكم ب3,000 من الملائكة منزلين. Verily Allah helped you, Ya Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, your companions. Allah helped you at the day of Badr when you people were weak, you were few, you didn't have a lot of power. Allah helped you on the day of Badr. So fear Allah in the hopes that you will be of those who give a shukr. When you said to the believers, isn't it enough for you people that Allah Ta'ala is going to send down 3,000 from the malaika to help you on the day of Badr? So that proves that, number one, my point is, and this was not the lecture, but I think it's something that should be mentioned. This ayat shows on the day of Badr, the angels, they helped the Muslims. They fought against the kuffar on the day of Badr. They fought against the kuffar on the day of Badr. The malaika in the ghazawat of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they used to help. Shaitan used to make the waswasa to those kuffar of Quraysh, and he used to say to them, لا غالب لكم اليوم من الناس. You people kuffar, you'll never be beat today. وإني جار لكم, and I'm going to help you. But then when the shaitan saw the Muslims, and he saw with the Muslims the malaika, he told those people from the kuffar of Quraysh, إِنِّي بَرِيءٌ مِنْكُمْ إِنِّي أَرَى مَا لَا تَرَوْنَ. I see what you don't see. I'm free from you. And he went the other way. So the point is, the malaika, they fought at the battle of Badr. But this religion was not carried on the shoulders of malaika. This religion in Islam, although the malaika, they helped the companions. Jibril came to the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and said, what's your opinion about the companions who fought in the battle of Badr? The Prophet said, they are the best of this ummah. The people who fought at Badr, the best of this ummah. Jibril said also the malaika who fought at the battle of Badr. Although the malaika fought the battles with the Muslims, this religion wasn't carried on the shoulders of the malaika. This religion was carried on the shoulder of men from the companions. من المؤمنين رجال صدقوا ما عاهدوا الله عليه فمنهم من قضى نحبه منهم من ينتظر وما بدلوا تبديلا. From this religion are men. Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, Ukasha, Bilal, radiallahu anhu. They made a contract with Allah and they kept their contract. Some of them went out and they were killed fi sabilillah for this deen. And others, they were still waiting to go make jihad. Like Khalid ibn Walid, he didn't die in the battlefield, although he fought once he became a Muslim in every battle. And then the ayah said, وَمَا بَدُّلُوا تَبْدِيلًا. They didn't change anything about this religion. So the point is, those companions, They didn't wait until every Ramadan to start learning about jihad. The Nabi says, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, من مات ولم يغزو ولم يحدث نفسه بغزو مات على شعبة من نفاق. Any Muslim man who dies and he never made jihad anywhere in the earth, real jihad, not fasad, real jihad, not killing Muslims, killing innocent people, making folda. Anyone who never made jihad in his life and he never encouraged himself or talked to himself, and he dies like that, he dies on a branch of nifaq, because it doesn't require anyone to know that it's from the fitrah of the person that I have to protect my mother, I have to protect my wife, the money that I work hard for every month, I have to protect it. Anybody comes to try to steal my money, I'm not going to just sit there, give him my other cheek, he slap me, I give him the other one. He take my clothes, I say, okay, take my pants. He comes to my land, he takes my land, I say, okay, take my water. The fitrah tells him, stand up and defend yourself. Well, his deen is more important than his clothes, it's more important than his water and his land, it's more important than everything. So how can the man say that he believes in Allah, that he's a Muslim, he's a mu'min inshallah, but he never made jihad, and nor did he talk to himself about making jihad? If that's his condition, that's a sign of nifaq. But al-kalam al-kathir, where on the 17th of Ramadan, better. That's jameel to talk about better, but it becomes something like our fast. Those companions in that ayah said about them, وَمَا بَدُّلُوا تَبْدِيلًا, they didn't change anything with the religion. Now, you come to the Muslims today, revert, come to the Muslims, Ya akhi, who is Allah? Ya Muslim, who is Allah? He gives me an interpretation who Allah is. This one gives me another. This one says that Ali is Allah reincarnated. This one says that Nabi is from the Nur of Allah. This one is telling me that Ali is from the Ruh of Allah. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam knows the ilm al-ghayb. Muhammad, he knows everything. He didn't die. If I make dua to the Nabi and to the Shaykh in the grave. Where is Allah? He tells me something. He tells me something. He tells me something. The sunnah, with some of the people, innovation is the sunnah, badalna. We changed a lot of stuff. The sawm of the Muslims today, I don't want to come here and be negative, but I just think we need to really think about these issues. The Nabi told the people, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لَيْسَ الصِّيَامِ عَنَ الْأَكْلِ وَالشُّرْبِ وَإِنَّمَا الصِّيَامِ عَنَ اللَّغْوِ وَالرَّفْثِ. Fasting is not, real fasting is not for you to stop eating and drinking. He said real fasting is for you to stop acting rude and ignorant in your behavior. So if the man in the month of Ramadan, he leaves and he goes and he wants to watch the man swimming in the Olympics. He has tight pants on and he's watching the man say, what kind of song is that? He wants to watch the people run the 100-yard dash. And I'm with you. I'm not living on an island. That Catholic guy from Jamaica, Usain Bolt, that guy is fast. He can run. But I don't want to see him in his underwear running down the street with my wife. And then, Ikhwani, during the nighttime, I'm sure I've never prayed Tarawih. But maybe the Imam in his dua in this masjid in Mecca, in Medina, Bayt al-Maqdis, in Birmingham, in London, in Mogadishu, everywhere. He says, Allahumma la tusallit bi dhunubina, la tusallit alayna bi dhunubina, man la yakhshaka fika wa la yarhamna. And we say, Ameen. Oh Allah, don't put over us those people who, because of our sins, they don't fear you in regards to us, and they don't have any rahmah for us. And we say, Ameen. And now in Finland, we say, Ameen. But after we do that Tarawih, we go home and we watch the musalsalat of the Arabs. We watch the soap operas of whatever. And then we come and do it again the same day. Then, the way of fasting in Islam and the way of practicing Islam is the way that those companions practice this religion. And that's what my class is about today. That's what my advice is about today. Everybody has a religious responsibility. Every father here, you have a responsibility to sit your children down and to teach them this religion. Especially these issues that there are shubahat and there's a lot of problems with understanding them, like al-Jihad. So the ayah that we wanted to deal with was the statement of Allah Ta'ala from Surah Al-Furqan. Allah Ta'ala mentioned that the Nabi is going to come and he's going to complain, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَقَالَ الرَّسُولُ يَا رَبِّ إِنَّ قَوْمِ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا. The Nabi is going to come, the messenger is going to come, he's going to complain, he's going to say, oh my Lord, my people have abandoned the Qur'an. They made hajr of the Qur'an. We were going to talk about the meaning of that ayat. And the reason why we wanted to talk about that meaning, that ayat, is because now more than half of Ramadan is past. Half of Ramadan is gone. Everybody has to look retrospectively to what he put forth. What went by? How much of the Qur'an did he read? How many Taraweeh did he pray? From the ibadat that are connected to Ramadan is the sadaqah and the zakat. And for you revert Muslims and all of you, you don't have to give your zakat in Ramadan. The ulama of Islam said and suggested Ramadan is a good time to give your zakat. But it's not wajib because of the fadl and the khair of the month. They said you can give your zakat. But I became a Muslim in the month of Shawwal, the month that is the month of Sha'ban, before Ramadan. I became a Muslim in Shawwal. I became a Muslim in Dhul Qa'dah. After a whole year goes around and Shawwal comes around again, I became a Muslim in Shawwal. I have to give my zakat in Shawwal. I have to give my zakat in Dhul Hijjah. It's not wajib, lazim, only Ramadan. But the point here is zakat and sadaqah. The Nabi, as Abdullah ibn Abbas said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, كان أجود الناس وكان أجود ما يكون في رمضان حين يلقاه جبريل. He was very, very, very generous, jawad, and he used to become more, give more in the month of Ramadan when Jibril came. So giving is from the ibadat of this month. And from the ibadat of this month as well, quite obviously, is for the people to make islah. So what we wanted to mention, Ikhwani, was this issue about abandoning the Qur'an. We have to look back, and we have to see, how was my Ramadan? And if it passed me by a lot of opportunities, I have to do better in the last days that remain. You have to remember, year in and year out, we perform Ramadan. And some people get burnt out. You have to pace yourself. Because although you're going to do more, as I'm going to show you what the Salaf used to do in this month, inshallah, although you're doing more, still the big hunt is in front of us, inshallah. Laylatul Qadr is the big hunt for the Muslim. And that's why the Nabi, he raised his ibadah up even more. He tied up his pants and tightened his belt even more. So now, we prayed 17 days of Taraweeh. We prayed all of those days, and your legs start hurting. There's someone who prayed every single Taraweeh, and it didn't pass him by, not one. Some people made all of the 5 prayers in the masjid. Some people made all of Salatul Fajr in the masjid. Some people did this, some people did that. The point is, it doesn't stop. It's going to become more serious in the last 10 days, So if a person tries to do everything in the beginning, he's going to be burnt out. The Nabi al-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam informed us, إِنَّ هَذَا الدِّينَ مَتِينٌ وَلَنْ يَشَادَّ الدِّينَ أَحَدٌ إِلَّا غَلَبَ. This religion is wide. It's expensive. It's a lot to do. Anyone who tries to do everything, it will overtake you. It would overtake you. So you have to be consistent. The point, we have to look back. And we have to not allow these remaining days to pass us by. Especially with the Qur'an. Especially with the Qur'an. I want to ask you, from the ibadat, did anybody here in the month of Ramadan make the sajda of a shukr? We made the sajda at-Tilawa. Allah Ta'ala put those ayat in the Qur'an that we read, so we made it. Ghasban anna, because we were reading the Qur'an. So we made that sajda of at-Tilawa. Did anybody here make sajda of a shukr? وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا. If you were to count the favors of Allah upon you, you'll never be able. Did anybody make sajda to shukr? Did anybody take his son and say to his son, come here, Just read to me Surah Al-Fatiha. Let me read to you Surah Al-Fatiha. So the song that we want, and the song that Allah wants from us, is the song that those companions were upon. Those people didn't make any tabdeel in the Tawheed of Allah. They didn't make any tabdeel in the Sunnah of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. They didn't make any tabdeel, taking bid'ah and making bid'ah the religion. Bid'ah is the religion to some of the Muslims. Bid'ah, innovation. And if you were to say in the nicest way, this is not from the religion, he'll tell you, you don't love Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Come on. Come on. Look at what's going on in Burma right now, in Burma. Some of us don't even know the reality. Even in Yemen, I saw on Al Jazeera, and I didn't know this until this year, that there were people who were starving to death in Yemen. I didn't know that. There are still Somalis in the camps over there, the camps in Kenya, dying from starvation. What kind of Ramadan are the people fasting right now? The dua of the fast is accepted. Why isn't our dua being accepted? All of these Muslims in the world, why isn't our dua being accepted? There's something wrong with that equation. I know that the Nabi, as you know, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, told us that the dua of the faster is accepted. We have over 1 million people fasting, making dua. What's going on with that dua? Either the Nabi didn't tell the truth, wa hasha lillah, or we're not living up to the situation. We're not doing, something is wrong with that equation. There's an ayah, I'm going to get into my issue. I just don't want you to allow this opportunity to pass by. There's an ayah in the Qur'an. There are two actually, they're similar to each other. Allah mentioned in the ayah, in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَلَوْلَا دَفْعُ اللَّهِ النَّاسَ بَعْضَهُمْ بِبَعْضٍ لَفَسَدَتِ الْأَرْضِ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ ذُو فَضْلٍ عَلَى الْعَالَمِينَ. If it wasn't for the fact that Allah would check one group of people by another group of people, there would be fasad in the earth. If one group of people didn't come and say, hey, you better stop. Hey, we're going to stop you. If that didn't happen, then there's going to be fasad in the earth. But Allah is Dhu Fadl ala al-Alameen, because He legislated Jihad. Because these people get up, they stop them. The other ayah, that's in Surah Al-Hajj, and Surah Al-Baqarah, and it comes after Allah spoke about Dawood and Talut and Jalut, about Jihad. The other ayah similar to it is in Surah Al-Hajj. Al-Hajj. Allah mentioned a similar ayah. وَلَوْلَا دَفْعُ اللَّهِ النَّاسَ بَعْضُهُمْ بِبَعْضٍ لَهُدِّمَتْ صَوَامِعُ وَبَيْعٌ وَصَلَوَاتٌ وَمَسَاجِدُ يُذْكَرُ فِيهَا اسْمُ اللَّهِ كَثِيرًا وَلَيَنْصُرُنَّ اللَّهَ مَنْ يَنْصُرُهُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَقَوِيٌّ عَزِيزٌ. If it wasn't for the fact that Allah pushed one people back with another group of people, that didn't happen, then the monasteries will be torn down, the synagogues, the churches, and the masjids would have been torn down. There would have been a lot of problems. But Allah, He uses one group of people. Why are the people in Burma being killed? Because there's nobody here to say to those Buddhists, stop what you're doing. The Muslims in Palestine, Ramadan, why are they being killed and oppressed in Ramadan? Because nobody's there to say, don't do that, Zionists. The Muslims in Syria, why they have all this drama all over the world? Because when the Muslims sit down and they don't do anything, it's going to be fitna and fasad. So the time is coming, for this Ummah to return back to the template that the Nabi left for us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's my message to you people today. What was the religion during the time of Abu Bakr and Umar, Uthman and Ali? It's the religion now. What was not the religion back then is not the religion now. Every aspect of Islam, I'm telling you, when that mu'adhin makes the adhan, it has to be like the adhan back then. The salah has to be like the salah back then. The dhikr has to be like the dhikr. The aqidah has to be like that. The behavior of the truth, it has to be like that. We want to get their jaza and their thawab, but we want to do other than what they're doing. No, it's not going to work like that. It's not going to work like that. We have to be people who pattern ourselves like them. So now, what is the talk about? That was the introduction. It was a side point. The talk is about the Salaf in the Qur'an. The Salaf in this Ummah concerning the Qur'an, in this ayah, that the Nabi will come and say, my Lord, my people abandon the Qur'an. And when I say Salaf, I can't take it for granted. Everyone knows what that means. New Muslim is he, never heard that word, so I have to explain. The Salaf are our righteous predecessors. Those first people who accept Islam from the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, those companions, radiyallahu anhum. And then the second generation of Muslims who came after them, they're called the Tabi'een. And then the third generations who came and they learned from the second generation. The companions, they met the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Tabi'een, they met the companions. The followers of the Tabi'een, they met the Tabi'een. They are the best of this Ummah, the first 300 years. The first 300 years. And in those 300 years of Islam, there was no Mawlid al-Nabawi, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There was a lot of things that we're doing today that they didn't know and they didn't do. Someone may say, don't say that. I'm not trying to disrespect anyone. One of the people we don't want to be like, that Allah mentioned in the Qur'an, a sin from the people, those people who are blind, no matter what you say, no matter what you do. Summun, bukmun, umyun. That's what Allah said about them in the Qur'an. They are deaf, dumb, and blind. Bani Israel, Musa came to them with 9 ayat for them to believe in him. He came with the frogs, he came with the lice, he came with the blood, he touched the water, and the water opened up. And every group of Bani Israel went down their line. You would think, if you saw someone open up the water, the Red Sea, you're going to say, I believe in Allah and the messenger Musa. But what did the Yuhu say? They said, لَن نُؤْمِنَ لَكَ حَتَّى نَرَى اللَّهَ جَهْرًا. We're not going to believe in you, Musa, until we see Allah. After all of that, وَلَئِنْ أَتَيْتَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ بِكُلِّ آيَةٍ لَا تَرِعُوا قِبْلَتَكَ. If you came to Al-Kitab with every ayah, they're not going to follow your Qibla, Ya Muhammad, although they knew when the Nabi was facing Bayt al-Maqdis, praying, and then the Qibla went to Mecca, the Yahud and the Nasara, they knew that this is what was supposed to happen. They're not going to follow you because they're summun, bukmun, umyun, deaf, dumb, and blind. I'm telling the people, for 300 years in Islam, first 300 years, those people didn't know a lot of the things that we say is the religion. And then that argument is clear. Someone will come and say, so what? We still want to do it this way. No, we have to go back to the template, and again, what we believe and how we worship and how we behave. So part of that is the Book of Allah. The concern that the companions have for the Qur'an is not a secret to no one here, no one. From their concern is that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam gave them a wasiyah. He used to give them a wasiyah to take care of the Qur'an. One of the Tabi'een, his name is Al-Aswad, he's from the ulama of the Tabi'een. He came to the companion Abdullah ibn Abi Awfa. He said to that companion, radiyallahu anhu, did the Nabi give us any wasiyah? Did he give you people any wasiyah? Nasiha, something to do? He said, nah. He told us to take care of the Qur'an. And those companions did it. The Nabi told them, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ala inni tarikum fikum thaqalain. أولهما كتاب الله فيه الهدى والنور فخذوا بكتاب الله واستمسكوا به ثم حثهم عليه ورغبهم فيه. I'm going to leave you people 2 things. They're heavy. The first one is the Book of Allah. In another narration he said, أحدهما أفضل من الآخر. One of them is better than the other one. He said, I leave you the Book of Allah. The Book of Allah. And it is guidance and it is light. Take the Book of Allah and hold on to it. Practice it. And then he started to encourage them. Take the Qur'an. And he started to tell them many things about the Qur'an. So when those companions heard that, they looked and they paid attention. and it sunk in, and they bought into it. It's the wasiyah of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He told the people, Ikhwani, in his wasiyah about this Qur'an, he said, Al-Qur'an shafi'un mushaffa' wa mahilun musaddaq. من جعله أمامه ساقه إلى الجنة ومن جعله خلفه ساقه إلى النار. This Qur'an, it will come Yawm al-Qiyamah and it will intercede for you. It will have the ability to intercede on your behalf. He said this Qur'an is mahil musaddaq. It is a book mahil. Yudafa anka, yujadil anka. It's a book that will argue for you Yawm al-Qiyamah. You want a lawyer? You want a lawyer? In America, you can't trust a lawyer. You give him your money, he's going to take your money. You don't know if he's for you, he's not for you. This Qur'an, it will be an argument for you. It will argue on your behalf. He did this, he did that, he did that. He didn't do this, he didn't do that. He read it, he paid attention to it. He honored it, he thought it will argue for you. And it's musaddaq, it should be believed. What's in it should be believed. The Nabi said in this wasiyah, whoever puts this Qur'an in front of him, it will take him to the Jannah. Whoever puts this Qur'an behind him, it's going to lead him to the hellfire. Now, I don't want to know what the Qur'an is doing here. I want to know what the Sheikh of the Qabila said. I want to know what the Madhab said, if the Madhab is wrong. I want to know what my Sheikh said. I want to know what my Ajdad said. I want to know what the Kuffar said. From the Salaf in the Qur'an, there was a companion, there was a man from the Salaf, his name is Mujahid. Mujahid said, I learned the Qur'an 3 times from Abdullah ibn Abbas. 3 times. Every ayah. Abdullah ibn Abbas would say, this ayah means this was revealed here. He went over the Qur'an 3 times with Abdullah ibn Abbas. So if you look at Sahih Bukhari, the ahadith that Bukhari brings in his chapter about tafsir or whatever, almost 80% of the hadith in Sahih Bukhari, where the hadith is talking about the tafsir of some surah, is from what Mujahid said. Because the Imam Bukhari, he knows. Sufyan al-Thawri said, if the tafsir comes to you from Mujahid, take it. 3 times, he went over that Qur'an with Ibn Abbas. Anyway, he said that Anas ibn Malik, Abu Hurairah, those companions used to tie the feet up of the shabab, the youngsters. They would tie their feet up with a chain, and the kid has to sit there and listen to the Qur'an and learn it. Now, the Muslim, he reads that because he has husn al-dhan about the companions and the salaf. He has husn al-dhan. He says, those salaf, they knew the nature of the child. They know that if the father doesn't put some pressure on the child is going to play around. So the father, the mother, responsible for putting some pressure. Now the non-Muslim comes and he reads that statement of Mujahid. The non-Muslim says, oh, that's child abuse. Put a chain on him and he tied him up. That's child abuse. And then the Muslim, he's apologetic because he lives in America and he says, yeah, the kuffar don't like that. That, the man was allowed. The Quran said he can hit the wife. And the Quran said that the Nabi, in the hadith, he married Aisha so young. And oh yeah, we have to apologize about that and we have to like this. Why is the Muslim going to feel like that about someone who doesn't know how to do the izalat al-najasa? That doesn't mean they don't have any good in them. The point is, what are you going to put your emphasis on? Allah said in His Messenger, the Qur'an is a book that's musaddaq. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, when he wanted to say the hadith, yujma'u khalqu ahadikum fi batni ummihi. When he used to say that hadith, he used to say, haddathani as-sadiq wal-masduq sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He could have just said, haddathani Rasulullah. He said, haddathani as-sadiq wal-masduq. The one who, what he says is truthful and what he says has to be believed. Even if all of the jinn and all of mankind, they don't agree, they don't understand. So the Salaf in the Qur'an, Allah's Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam gave them the wasiyah. So in the beginning of Islam, He allowed the people to write the Qur'an. He told them, "Man kataba anni ghayra al-Qur'an falyamhu." Any of you companions who wrote anything of the Sunnah, if you wrote my kalam, erase it. He only allowed them to write the Qur'an. In the beginning of Islam, He didn't want the Qur'an to get mixed up with His Sunnah. After a lot of time went by, and then the companions realized there's a difference. This is the Qur'an and this is the Sunnah. Then the Nabi started to allow them to write the Sunnah. But the fact that they would take care of that, and only a few of them used to write, that's another indication and dalil ikhwani of the fadl of the companions upon us. Allah Ta'ala mentioned about those companions. هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين. Allah is the one who sent to the unlettered people. They couldn't read and write. He sent to them a Rasul from them. He read to them those ayat. He purified them with Tawheed. He purified them with the Ibadat of Al-Islam. And he taught them the Kitab and Hikmah, although before they didn't know. Now just imagine this, where we come from. Yemen, Somalia, Africa, our people are illiterate. They can't read and write. Many of our relatives can't read and write today. Our Ummah is a Ummah Ummiyah. That's what the Nabi said. They can't read and write. When a person can't read and write, mere poor, when a person can't read and write, it's easy for you to take advantage of them. You can tell them almost anything. A lot of times you take advantage of people who can't read and write. But those companions, although they couldn't read and write, they say that Qur'an for us. That was their ihtimam. We can read and write. We can read and write. But in this majlis right now, we have 1, 2, 3 people who memorize the Qur'an. At any given time, if the Qur'an was, we have to come up with the ayat of the Qur'an. We won't. This one knows Usamah. He only knows this one. But can we preserve that? Those companions, they took care of that Qur'an. Abu Bakr and Umar in the war of Yamama, when those Qur'an were killed, the fact that they put that Qur'an together, if Abu Bakr and Umar didn't do anything else other than after the war of Yamama, they brought that Qur'an together in a book, if that's all they did a lot for this Ummah. They did a lot for this Ummah. If that was all that they did. And then those companions in the past of Qur'an, they used to be responsible for the people, like Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, during the Khilaf of Umar radiallahu anhu. He was the leader of al-Basra in Iraq. All that fit in Iraq. That was a bedrock of Islam. Today, Ameen. Why is Iraq like that? Anyway, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, he sent Anas ibn Malik to al-Medina to the Amir al-Mu'mineen. Umar said to Anas ibn Malik, how did you leave the al-Ash'ari? How did you leave Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, the governor of Basra? How? What's his condition? He said, I left him, ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, in the masjid, teaching the people the Qur'an. Teaching the people the Qur'an. There's a man, his kunya Abu Abdurrahman al-Sulami. He's the one from the Tabi'in who narrated in Sahih Bukhari from Uthman ibn Affan radiyallahu anhu. خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنِ وَعَلَّمَ. The best of you is the one who learned the Qur'an and taught it. This hadith doesn't mean the best person here, al-itlaq. The best person is the Hafid of the Qur'an. It doesn't mean that. The Hafid of the Qur'an, he has virtues, he has fadl, he has a manzil, no doubt about that. He has that. But the hadith doesn't mean that. Because a person may memorize the Qur'an, but there's another person who didn't memorize the Qur'an, but he's doing more benefit for the community and for the people in his da'wah. The one who memorized the Qur'an, he memorized, but he doesn't teach. He just prays with the people. Or he doesn't even do that. He just memorized. That doesn't make him the best of the people. One time a Bedouin came, he said, Ya Rasulullah, who's the best from us? The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Man qala umruhu wa hasana amaluhu. The best from you is the one who lived a long time and he had a lot of good deeds. So this brother right here, my neighbor who brought me here, he's 22 years old, 22 years old. And Sheikh Ahmed over there in the corner, he fasted more than 22 years. They're the same. Sheikh right here, he fasted 40 years. This one over here fasted 50 Ramadans with 50 Laylatul Qadrs, with 50 Taraweehs, with 50 of the Khayrat. So the point is, خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنِ وَعَلَّمَ. It doesn't mean just because he memorized he's the best. Doesn't mean that. The best is also the one who lives a long time and he has good works. The meaning of that hadith is, out of all of the knowledge that you can learn, out of all of the books that you can read, out of all of the sciences that you can engage yourself in, the best book, the best science, the best knowledge is the knowledge of this Qur'an. Is the knowledge of this Qur'an. Now we had 3 Fridays. How many people allowed Surah Al-Kahf to pass them by in each one of those Fridays? Those Salaf, those companions. Uthman ibn Affan in the Qur'an, first of all, you know that the Ummah started reading the different qira'at of the Qur'an, and there was some ikhtilaf in the qira'at, and the people started arguing with each other. Why did they argue? Umar said during his khilafah, كيف تختلف هذه الأمة ونبيها واحد وقبلتها واحدة. How and why does this ummah have ikhtilaf like this? Ibn Abdullah ibn Abbas said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, the Qur'an was revealed on us, the companions. It came down. We understood it, we read it, we knew why it was revealed, and we practiced it. He said, then it came these people and more are going to come, who they read the Qur'an, but they don't understand it. And each one is going to give the tafsir according to his right. And if everyone gives the tafsir according to his opinion, they're going to have ikhtilaf. And when there's ikhtilaf, they're going to fight one another. They'll fight until they destroy their countries. They'll fight until they just can't get along. No, that Qur'an, wahada as-sahaba radiyallahu anhu. So Uthman, when he saw the ummah was having ikhtilaf, he sent a letter. Everybody send me the different masahif. They sent all of them, and he burnt them. He burnt those masahif, got rid of them. You have a Qur'an, mushaf with old pages. Don't throw it in the bin, don't throw it in the garbage, don't use it for paper. No, you have to respect it, you have to get rid of it. Burn it and oversee its burning. And then Uthman, he kept this Qur'an that is with us today. If he didn't do anything else, if that's all he did, kafabi, that's all he did. But he did more than that. When those people killed him and stabbed him, Uthman was fasting, and it wasn't Ramadan, and he was reading the Qur'an. He died. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالِ بِالْخَوَاتِيمِ. Where you gonna go? Jannah, nah, it's gonna be determined by the last thing you do. He was reading the Qur'an. So the point is, the Salaf in the Qur'an. Uthman Ikhwani, for the people here who pray Taraweeh, Ashab at-Thahabi, he prayed Salatul Witr with 1 rak'ah of the Qur'an. 1 rak'ah of the Qur'an, as Al-Imam Ibn Kathir brought with the authentic chain of narration in his book Fadail al-Qur'an. 1 rak'ah. Tamim al-Dari, he was one of the 3 ulama of the Qur'an that Umar radiallahu anhu, when he put the people to pray Taraweeh, one of them was Tamim al-Dari. He used to be a Christian. He saw the Dabba. He saw the Dajjal. And he came and he told the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And he was a revert to Islam. 1 rak'ah. He prayed Salat with 1 rak'ah. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, in the month of Ramadan, he used to read the Qur'an 3 times in the month of Ramadan. First 10 days, he completed. Second 10 days, he completed. Third 10 days, he completed. Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, he was from the Zuhad of this Ummah. When he was younger, the Nabi said, I heard that you fast every day and you read the Qur'an every day, you complete it. He said, now, وَمَا أَرَدْتُ بِذَلِكَ إِلَّا الْخَيْرِ Ya Rasulullah. I only wanted good in doing that. And then he said, don't do that. Even if you wanted good, it's not a proof that your niyyah was mukhlisa, khalisa. It's not a proof that it's okay because you meant to do it. The proof is, did you have ikhlas and was it in accordance to the sunnah? The Nabi said, as for the Qur'an, read it every 40 days. Abdullah bin Amr bin As said, I can do more. The Nabi said, okay, then don't read it in less than 30 days. He said, I can do more. He said, don't read it in less than 20 days. He said, I can do more. Don't read it in less than 15 days. He said, I can do more. Don't do it in less than 10 days. He said, I can do more. He said, don't do it in less than 7 days. And don't go less than 7. But the Nabi allowed some of the people to read it 3 days. Our mother Aisha, she said, radiyallahu anha, the Nabi never read the Qur'an in less than 3 days. He used to. In the month of Ramadan, Jibril would come and go over the Qur'an. And every Ramadan, he fasted 9 times. He made hijrah to Medina. The first year of the hijrah, no Ramadan. Second year of the hijrah, fasting was legislated. Whoever wanted to do it would do it. Whoever didn't want to do it, they would just feed a person. But the Nabi fasted 9 Ramadanat. 9. So if someone asks you, Abdullah, how many times did the Nabi fast on Ramadan? 9 times. Each time, every year, Jibril would come and go over the Qur'an. With whatever was revealed to that point, Jibril would go over and say, put this here, put that there, read this. Jibril would read it to him, and he would read it back to Jibril. 9 times. And then in the last year of his life, Jibril came twice. So that means that the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, first of all, he used to read that Qur'an in Ramadan, and he used to listen to it in Ramadan. And it shows he read it twice in the month of Ramadan. You have to read more of the Qur'an. You have to hear more of the Qur'an. And if you're not doing that, there's something wrong. So what about the fact that the Nabi told the people, don't read the Qur'an in less than 3 days, but we have Uthman doing it in less than 3 days. We have Tamim al-Dari doing it in less than 3 days. Al-Imam Ibrahim al-Nakhai. He taught the Sheikh who taught Abu Hanifa. He was taught by Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Ibrahim al-Nakhai. He used to read the Qur'an every 2 days in Ramadan. And in the Ashr Awakhir, he read the Qur'an every night 10 times. That's authentic about them. That's not some khurafat, hocus pocus, kalam. And Imam Abu Hanifa made salat for 80 years with the same wudu from Fajr, from Isha to Fajr. That's khurafat. As for these companions in those times, they did that. So how is it that the Nabi said, don't do it, and they did it? As a revert, as a tuwailid of knowledge small, you young brothers, be careful of this arrogant opinion. I can't come, me, Abu, I can't come and say, they went against the Sunnah. I take what the Nabi said and that's it. They went against the Sunnah. Don't be like that. You have to look for some makhraj, you have to look for some statement. Why would they do that? They did it because the companions and the salaf of this ummah were of the opinion, since so many of them did it, if it's the month of Ramadan, then you can do more. If you're Mecca and Medina, then you can do more. There's a tabi, his name is Qatada ibn Di'ama Dosi. That man, Al-Imam Ta'us Al-Yamani, that man went into the Kaaba and he read the whole Qur'an in 1 rak'ah. Why? Because he was in the Kaaba. Why were they reading it so much? Because in Ramadan, it's better for your wife to pray in her house. Her salat in her house is better for her. But in the month of Ramadan, no. It's better for her to come to the masjid if she can do it. Because in her house, she's not going to read. In her house, she's not going to pray. How many of our women, our wives and our daughters, Ramadan passes them by? Our mother Aisha, when Ramadan came, she used to tell people, bring me what you have written, bring me what you have written, bring me what you have written, bring me. Anyone who has something written, they would bring it to her. They said, Ya al-Mu'minin, why? You memorize. Why don't you just read it? She said, because the Nabi said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, من أراد أن يحب الله ورسوله فليقرأ من المصحف. Anyone who wants to love Allah and His Messenger, you want to develop in your heart, then let him read from the Mus'haf. She could have read from her head, but she knew that there were virtues in reading the Qur'an, virtues in reading it and listening to it. So those people, they used to read the Qur'an in the month of Ramadan. Your wives should come to the masjid in the month of Ramadan. You go to Mecca and Medina, you're going to say to your wife, stay in the hotel room. It's better to pray in the hotel room, so there's no ikhtilat. No, you're going to tell her, come to the Kaaba. Come to the Nabi's masjid so that they can get the barakah. Ramadan is the same way. As for listening to the Qur'an, I'm an Ajami. Arabic is not my language. English is my language. Somali is yours. Urdu is yours. Mirpuri is yours. It's still not an excuse. Because listening to the Qur'an, as I told you, Jibril used to come to the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Jibril would read the Qur'an to the Nabi and he would listen. The art of the Qur'an and someone listening, all that's from the Sunnah. وَإِذَا قُرِيَ الْقُرْآنِ فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ وَأَنصِتُوا لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. If the Qur'an is read, be quiet and listen to it. In the hopes you may get rahmah. Look what happened. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was waiting for Aisha to come home. She was supposed to be home, but she didn't come. She was late. When she finally arrived, the mas'ul anha sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Where were you at?" She has a man that's responsible for it. She said, "Ya Rasulullah, I was coming, but I went by the masjid and I heard the recitation of one of your companions. Wallahi, I never heard a recitation like that ever." What did the Nabi do? He could have just said, describe him how. He said, "Take me to him." She took the Nabi to him. When the Nabi went, he stopped and listened to the man. He just listened. And then he said to her, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Hada Salim, Mawla Abi Hudayfa, Alhamdulillah, alladhi ja'ala min ummati mithla hada." That's Salim. He's an ex-slave of Abu Hudayfa. All praise is due to Allah that made someone like that in my ummah. Someone, when the people hear his recitation, if given the choice, I'm going to listen to this or watch the musalsalat, because his recitation is so nice, the regular Muslim is going to say, I'm going to listen to that. The other point here is, the Nabi is the Sayyid of Bani Adam, the Khatim of the Anbiya and the Rusul, and he still got up and he went and he listened. He listened to all that. He listened. He was walking home and he passed by the house of his companion Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. He was reading the Qur'an in his house. The Nabi stopped. Without interrupting, without disturbing, he just listened to the recitation. And then when he finished, the Nabi left. The next day when they prayed Salatul Fajr, the Nabi said to Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, who was in the first row, because he was from the ulama of the Qur'an, and the Nabi wanted the ulama of the Qur'an to pray behind him. Ubay ibn Ka'b, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, Mu'adh ibn Jabal, they used to pray behind him. The Nabi said to Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, who he listened to his Qur'an the previous night, لو رأيتني وأنا أستمع لقراءتك البارحة إنك أوتيت مزمارا من مزامير آل داود. If you would have just saw me, Abu Musa, I was listening to your recitation last night. You have been given one of the flutes of Dawood. Dawood was given the Zabur in Ramadan. The Zabur was revealed to Dawood, as the Nabi says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, on the 18th day of Ramadan. The Zabur was given to him on the 18th day of Ramadan. And when he used to read the Zabur, he had a beautiful voice. The Christians today, right to this point, they call them the Psalms. The Psalms. They respect that book. It's a lot of khurafat involved, but they respect it. And Dawood, when he used to read it, he used to have a beautiful book. That man, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, had that voice. The Nabi was not mutakabbir, mustakbir. He can't stop to listen to the Qur'an. He used to listen. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So now the question here is, a person, he can't read the juz. To read the juz, it takes some time. He can't read. He doesn't want to read. He can't sit and just listen to the Qur'an. من أراد أن يعلم ما له لله أو ما له عند الله فلينظر ما لله عنده. Anyone wants to know his position with Allah, where you stand with Allah, then look at Allah's position with you. Do you choose the Qur'an, or do you choose the level and the kalam farih, qila wa qal, kadhib, and wasting time? Do you choose that over that? Do you choose sitting to read the Qur'an? So the meaning that the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rabbi inna qawmi ittakhadhu hadha al-Qur'an mahjura, it means they don't read it. They don't read it. Not in Ramadan and outside Ramadan. It means they don't listen to it. The Nabi said to Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Iqra alayhi al-Qur'an. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, read to me the Qur'an. He said, I read it to you, Ya Rasulullah, it was revealed on you. He said, Inni uhibbu an asma'ahu min ghayri. I love to hear it from other than me. In the narration, Inni ashtahi an asma'ahu min ghayri. I desire to hear it from other than me. If a person knows Arabic, he's reading the Qur'an, he has to pay attention to tajweed. He has to pay attention to what's going on. So his tarkeez may not be there. But when he's listening, as-sama', it's a tremendous ni'mah. When he's listening, he can listen with the tadabbur and the ta'amman. The Nabi said, I love to hear it from other than me. Ibn Mas'ud says, so I started reading from Surah An-Nisa from the beginning. And then I kept reading until I came to the statement of Allah Ta'ala, فَكَيْفَ إِذَا جِئْنَا مِنْ كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ بِشَهِيدٍ وَجِئْنَا بِكَ عَلَى هَؤُلَاءِ شَهِيدًا قال صلى الله عليه وسلم حسبك قال ابن مسعود فنظرت إليه فإذا عيناه تذرفان. He started reading Surah An-Nisa. He said, when I came to the ayat, how is it going to be Yawm al-Qiyamah when we bring a witness over every nation, a Nabi, a Rasul, to witness over the nation. And we bring you, Ya Mustafa, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, over these people as a shaheed. The Nabi said, Hasbuka, stop there. Ibn Mas'ud said, I stopped, I looked up, and the Nabi was crying. He was crying, why? The meaning of the Qur'an that he heard. Ayat of Adab, Rahmah, Surah An-Nisa. Those ayat of Al-Ahkam, about who to marry, who you can't marry. He's happy that this Qur'an was revealed on the Arabs. Before Surah An-Nisa, the Nisa were mazlumat, and this Qur'an freed them from those shackles. And then he came to that ayah, he said, stop, stop. The Nabi was crying, why? Because with this Ummah, he is Ra'uf Rahim. He's merciful to everybody from this Ummah. But he's going to come Yawm al-Qiyamah as a shaheed on this Ummah. And one of the things he's going to bear witness is, my Ummah have abandoned that Qur'an. And I have to witness that, bear witness on them. They use it for khurafat. They use it for magic, black magic, white magic. They use it for all kind of crazy things. All kind of crazy things. So the point here, and the lesson here, and the call here is, we have a few more hours, inshallah, before we break our fast on this day. The call and the lesson here is, as he says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لِأَنْ يَأْتِيَ أَحَدُكُمْ أو لِأَنْ يَغْدُوَ أَحَدُكُمْ إِلَى الْمَسْجِدِ فَيَقْرَأَ أو يَتَعَلَّمَ آيَتَيْنِ مِنْ كِتَابِ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ لَهُ مِنْ نَاقَتَيْنِ وَثَلَاثٌ خَيْرٌ لَهُ مِنْ ثَلَاثٍ وَأَرْبَعٌ خَيْرٌ لَهُ مِنْ أَرْبَعٍ وَمِعْدَادِهِنَّ مِنَ الْإِبِلِ. For one of you to come to the masjid, to read 2 ayat or to learn 2 ayat, that's better for you than to go and get 2 camels. To come to the masjid, to read or learn 3 ayat, that's better than 3 camels. 4 ayat, better than 4 ayat, and on and on and on. He reads Surah Al-Kahf, 110 ayat, that's better than 110 camels. When the companions heard that, that went into their brain, into their heart, into their soul. And as a result of that, they engaged themselves in the Qur'an, like I told you. Abu Abdurrahman as-Sulami, he learned from Uthman that hadith. خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنَ وَعَلَّمَ. From that hadith, he sat in the masjid, he taught the people for 40 years, 40. They said, why did you stay in the masjid so long teaching? You don't make jihad, you don't do this. He said, because of the hadith that Uthman said, هُوَ الَّذِي أَقْعَدَنِي فِي مَكَانِ هَذَا. Those people had ulu al-himma. And Imam Nafi', one of the 7 reciters, Nafi' ibn Ali and Nu'ayn and Medini. That man, one of the 7 reciters, he taught the Qur'an to Qalun, taught the Qur'an to Warsh, taught the Qur'an to Imam Malik, taught the Qur'an to Al-Imam al-Waqidi. He was in the masjid 70 years, 70 years, teaching the book of 70 years. Some of those ulama of the Salaf, some of those ulama, Abu Ayyan al-Baghdadi from the Tabi'in, he didn't want to teach the regular people. He wanted to focus on the blind people. give them the talqeen of the Qur'an. He taught 70 blind people the Qur'an. Al-Imam at-Thahabi in his book, Sir A'lam al-Nubala, he said about that man, anyone who taught 70 blind people the Qur'an from talqeen, he has done a lot of good. You know, the one who can see. He reads the Qur'an, he just keeps making mistakes, but he can see. So he's going to learn it easier because he can see. The one who can't see, he has to listen. And you have to keep telling him. He taught 70 blind people. Now Allah didn't make us blind with that, at least not with our eyes. But the blindness of the heart is a problem. It's a big problem. The call here, Ikhwani, and the advice here is to reconnect yourselves to the book of Allah. Don't make hajr of the Qur'an. Hajr of the Qur'an, abandon it, don't read it. Don't listen to it. Don't judge by it. My people have abandoned the Qur'an. Go to their countries and their hukam. Don't judge by the book. And the mahkumun, don't judge by the book. That's a problem. They abandon the Qur'an. They don't make at-Thahabi with the Qur'an. The man is sick. He's sick. Headache, arthritis, whatever he has. Before he'll pick up that Qur'an in the month of Ramadan, outside of Ramadan, instead of making ruqyah on himself, he'll go to the hospital, go to the chemist, the pharmacist, do this, do that. If he really believed that the Qur'an was a shifa, he really believed that, like those companions believed, he would first read that Qur'an on himself. Read that Qur'an on himself. So I don't want to sound funny negative, like the month of Ramadan, we have to make the, we did a lot of good, no doubt about that. But when this Ummah returns itself, reconnects itself to the Book of Allah, we'll find that a lot of these issues that we have these mashakil, inshallah ta'ala, they're going to tabakh, they're going to go. But as long as the community, the Ummah stays in this condition, nobody comes to tell us, Ummah al-Islam, go back to the way of the Salaf, and the way we pray, and the way we understand this religion, the way we get in the line. This is the responsibility of our Imam in this masjid, this is the responsibility of the Ibarah in this masjid, and in every place. Abu Bakr, Uthman, Ali, when they were responsible for the community, they did everything to take care of the Qur'an of this deen. Umar radiallahu anhu, the people in Syria, wrote him a letter. They said, we don't have people who teach the Qur'an. Send us some people. Umar, he called 5 of the big huffaz of the Qur'an. Abu Darda, Ubad ibn Usamah, Ubay ibn Ka'b, Mu'adh ibn Jabal, and one more. He said, you people choose between yourselves. Who's going to go? They said, it's easy. Abu Ayyub al-Ansari. Abu Ayyub, Abu Darda, Ubad ibn Usamah, Ubay ibn Ka'b, and Mu'adh ibn Jabal. 3 of you, I want you to go to Sham. Our Sham, Syria, right now. They said it's easy. Abu Ayyub is an old man, he can't go. Ubay ibn Ka'b is sick. So the 3 of them went. And this was the second time that Mu'adh ibn Jabal went. The Nabi sent Mu'adh ibn Jabal, Ali ibn Abi Talib, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. He sent them to Yemen. And he told them, Allimu wa yassiru wa la tu'assiru wa bashiru wa la tunaffiru wa idha ghadiba ahadakum falyasmut. Go to Yemen and teach those people. Teach them what? Teach them the Aqeedah of Islam. Teach them the Qur'an. Teach them the Ahkam of Salah and Zakat and the rest of the religion. So those 3, they went to Sham. They stopped together in Hims. The 3 of them stopped. Ubad ibn Usamah stayed. The other 2 left, and he went to Damascus. They went there, the 2 of them, Mu'adh and Abu Darda. Abu Darda stayed in Damascus. Mu'adh ibn Jabal went to Palestine. And he died in Palestine from the plague. He died. They went with their families to those people to teach them the Quran. The person lost his life in the plague. What did you do for the Quran? Nobody's telling you to go to Syria. People are telling you, make sure you put your boy in the tahfidh of the Qur'an. Make sure you come and learn the Qur'an. Oh my Lord, my people abandon the Qur'an. They don't learn the sciences of the Qur'an. There's no book, Ikhwani, that's been serviced in Islam more than the Qur'an. You have the science of hadith, you have the science of Arabic language, you have the science of fiqh, usul fiqh. You have many sciences, alat of knowledge. No science was serviced more than the Qur'an. From the sciences of the Qur'an, al-nasikh wal-mansukh, asbab al-nuzul, tajweed al-Qur'an, how do you read it? From the sciences of the Qur'an is the ijaz of the Qur'an. Oh my Lord, my people abandon the Qur'an. They have a big community, and not one of them went to a class of the tafsir of the Qur'an. The masjid never had an ongoing class about the tafsir of the Qur'an. Not one class of the tafsir of the. I'm not talking about this masjid, I'm talking about the condition. I don't know what this masjid did, what it didn't do. But the Muslims are existing, and they don't have one single class about the explanation of the Qur'an. It's a problem. The Nabi will complain. So let us return, inshallah ta'ala, to the book of Allah ta'ala, and let us return to the book of Allah, taken as an example what those companions were upon. That's the message. Back to the way of the Salaf as-Salih, the righteous predecessors from this Ummah, those companions, and the Tabi'un after them, and the Atba' al-Tabi'in. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept it from us and to accept it from you, and to give us the wherewithal, inshallah, and the ability and the raghbah, the desire as well, to read as much as we can possibly read from this Qur'an, and also to practice it. Because the real goal, the objective of the Nizal of the Qur'an is to apply it, to get out of your heart hasad and haqq and jahil and kibr, to get out of your heart al-isti'jal and all of those amrad that affect the human being from inside, all of those sicknesses that people have. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's our wali, and He's qadir on all of that. If you brothers have any questions, for 10 minutes we'll do the questions, and then we have to get out of here. Hopefully we can get back in time for our iftar, inshallah. Alaykum shay. You guys have any questions? Your brothers have any questions? Sheikh, عندك شيء؟ لا حبيبي.
Assalamu alaikum. Brother, just I want to please to elaborate about the verse in the Quran. It's saying, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. So some brothers or some people, they think that some Muslim leaders or rulers in our times, we can imply this verse on them. So will you just elaborate a little bit? Jazakallah.
The Amir al-Mu'mineen and the fourth best person of this Ummah after the three Khulafa, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, the fourth best person from those Khulafa al-Rashideen, Ali ibn Abi Talib, radiyallahu anhu. He was told that there was a man in the masjid giving the tafsir of the Qur'an. Ali said, does he know the nasikh and the mansukh? They said, no, he's just giving qasas, stories. He said, does he know the science of asbab al-nuzul? They said, no, he's just making tarheeb and tarheeb. Ali radiallahu anhu said, لَقَدْ ضَلَّ وَأَضَلَّ ضَلَّ وَأَضَلَّ. He went astray and he led the people astray. He has to have some background about why the ayat was revealed. If the person knows why the ayat is revealed, he'll understand how the ayat is applied. Khwani, why is it that our religion is so cheap that every Amr, Bakr and Zayd can come before the people and say what he wants? We make takfir, we make tabdi', we make tafsiq, we make halal and haram, just like that. Just like that. But when it comes to our dunya, we have a diqqa. If the Imam gives the khutbah, he has to stop at 2 o'clock. What time you guys start here? 1:30? He has to stop 2 o'clock. If it's 2:01, someone say, hey Imam, inna Allah ghafurur rahim. Don't be tough, don't be rough, be easy. Yuridu Allahu bikum yusr, la yuridu bikum usr. And the man may be given some dawah, he may be given something that you need to hear. But if he goes 1 minute past, we have hirs on the time. But outside of that, this Ramadan, take advantage of the time. Busy yourself. No, there's no hirs. So concerning these ayat of the Qur'an, the three of them, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ. They can be kuffar, they can be fusaq, they can be zalama. 3 different descriptions. They asked Abdullah ibn Abbas about this ayat. Ibn Abbas, who the Nabi hugged him and made dua, Allahumma faqihhu ta'wila kitabik. Oh Allah, teach him the explanation of your book. He told the people, are you people using this ayat that was revealed in the Yahud and the Nasara to put it on the Muslims? This is kufr, dun, kufr. It's not that kind of kufr that takes you outside of the religion when it's in relationship to the Muslims. But it is possible that it could mean he's outside. It isn't possible. But there are some mawani' and some shurut. It's not for everyone. And who in his right mind is going to come and say, this is only for the hukam. This is for everybody sitting here. If you don't judge by what Allah revealed, then you can be the kafir, you can be the zalim, you can be the fasiq. Why is it only for the hukam? You are a hakim in your house. You're the hakim in your house. So it is possible that the hakim can be a kafir. It's possible, outside of Islam. But there are mawani that have to be absent and shurut that have to be present. Does he have knowledge? Does he know what he's doing? Is it a mistake? Is it ta'wil? If those things are present, those things, yes, he's a kafir, wala karama. But the ayat is not just for the hukam, it's for every Amr, Bakr, and Zayd from the Muslims. So the person tells us, and we believe in that, al-ibratu laysa bi khusus al-sadr, ولكنها بعموم اللفظ نعم على الرأس والعين. That's true. Although it was revealed to Yahud and Nasara, specifically, the benefit is general, and we accept that. But general includes the hakim and the Muslim as well. Why do you only put it on the hukam? Lastly, concerning this dangerous question, my advice, Ikhwani, is these types of issues in the city of Liverpool, London, and these places, these issues, they're one of the proofs that we have lost the plot. There are issues in front of our noses, we leave them, and we engage in these مسائل العلمية الكبار يعني الكبرى يحتاج الإنسان إلى علم وبصيرة. He has to be mutamakkin. It's not just some kalam you just say. Say the truth if you know it, and if you don't know it, just say Allahu A'lam. Those companions, they were afraid of these types of positions people. We're going to do these questions and that's it, inshallah. Questions from the sisters, I guess. What was the situation with Ibn Abbas when he asked Ummah the question about who the Qur'an was revealed in? I'm not sure what they're talking about. I don't know, maybe they're talking about Abdullah ibn Abbas. He performed the Hajj with Umar radiallahu anhu. Ibn Abbas performed the Hajj with Umar. And when Umar wanted to use the toilet to relieve himself, he took his camel, his horse over, and Ibn Abbas said, I went with him. And then I said to him, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, there's a question I've been wanting to ask you for a whole year. He said, I was afraid to ask him this question because of the haiba of Umar, because the seriousness of Umar. Not because he was mutshaddid, not because he was violent, but he was just a serious person. You're not going to sit in his majlis and talk about qila wa qala and kalam farik and thamtham. He's not like that. He waited one whole year. He said, who was Allah referring to in the Qur'an in Surah At-Tahrim? وَإِذْ أَسَرَّ النَّبِيُّ إِلَى بَعْدِ أَزْوَاجِهِ حَدِيثًا. And remember when Allah's Nabi told a secret to some of his family. Who was Allah referring to in that story? إن تتوبا إلى الله فقد صغت قلوبكما وإن تظاهر عليه فإن الله هو مولاه والجبريل والملائكة والصالح المؤمنين والملائكة بعد ذلك ظهير. Who was that referring to? Umar told them that's referring to Hafsa and Aisha. And for you to have a question to ask me, Ibn Abbas, anything you want to know, don't let my hate prevent you. Come ask me anything. I don't know if that's what they mean. That's what comes to my mind. What is the reward of the person learning the whole of the Qur'an and the tafsir in the akhirah? Certainly the one who was a hafiz of the Qur'an, there's a lot of rewards. The Nabi told the people, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, يُقَالُ لِصَاحِبِ الْقُرْآنِ يَوْمُ الْقِيَامَةِ اقْرَأ ورتل اقرأ ورتل كما كنت ترتل في الدنيا فإن آخر منزلتك عند آخر آية تقرأها. The one who memorized the Quran will say, read and rise up and read with tajweed. For verily the last ayat that you read is going to determine where you are in the Jannah. That's for the hafiz of the Quran, one who memorized the book of Allah Azza wa Jalla. From the virtues of the book of Allah is that the Nabi told the people sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allah yad'u bihada al-kitab aqwaman wa yad'u bih akharin. Some people will be raised up by this kitab and other people will be put down. From those who will be raised up will be the people who memorize the book of Allah. So the hafiz is not like anybody else. إِنَّ مِنْ إِجْلَالِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى إِكْرَامِ الشَّيْبَةِ الْمُسْلِمِ وَحَامِلِ الْقُرْآنِ وَحَامِلِ الْقُرْآنِ. The one who doesn't have ghulu in it and he doesn't have jafa. From proof that you have iman is that you respect the one who memorizes the Qur'an, the one who doesn't go overboard in his memorization the way he is, and the one who isn't falling short of the mark. Why was Fir'aun prevented from saying Shahada if he believed before his last breath? The Tawbah will be accepted from the slave anytime he wants to make Tawbah, but if certain things happen, Tawbah will not be accepted. Yawm al-Qiyamah, the sun is going to rise from the west and it's going to land in the east. When that happens, there's no Tawbah. When Ya'juj and Ma'juj comes, there's no Tawbah. And if a person is about to die, Allah will accept his Tawbah, except if he's making what the Nabi says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, yugharghar. When the person is about to die, and now he says, I believe. Because at that point, when the sun comes from the west, everybody's going to say La ilaha illallah. Everybody's going to know. When a person's about to die, certain things are going on with the malaika, malak al-maut, so it's going to be clear. It's too late now. It's too late now. So he said that he believed too late, and that's a clear proof that al-iman, just saying you believe is not enough. Fir'aun said, I believe in the Lord of Harun and Musa, but that doesn't make him a believer. Shaitan believes in Allah. He says that, Inni akhafullah. That doesn't make him a believer. You have to have actions to be a believer, and you have to say it. What advice would you give to someone that is only just starting to learn how to read the Quran Arabic, not at first, he's a convert or revert? There are certain people in this religion that get their reward 2 times. One of those people is a person who's a revert. He believed in his Nabi, Musa or Isa, and then he became a Muslim and he believed in Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وَذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِيهِ مَن يَشَاءُ. So you have to see that Allah Ta'ala has favored you. The Arab person who has Arabic, Allah favored him. I don't know, Ikhwan. I don't know, I have to be honest. We have 2 reciters in Birmingham. Both of them nice voices and they know what they're doing. When I stand behind them, because I can understand what they're saying, it helps me for the salat not to be too heavy. I think about some of the brothers who don't know Arabic. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how a person can stand 11 rakat. We start 10:45 and we finish 12:30. I don't know how a person can just stand there all of that time and he doesn't know what's going on. So he may get a reward that's greater than the reward of the Arab who knows what's going on, because it's Iman that's causing him to stand there. So concerning this particular issue, the Nabi told the people sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, الذي يقرأ القرآن وهو ماهر به مع السفرة الكرام البررة والذي يقرأه وهو يتتعتع فيه وهو عليه شاب فله أجران. Whoever reads the Qur'an and he's an expert, he really knows what he's doing, he's going to be raised up on Qiyam with the Malaika. And the one who reads the Qur'an and he makes mistakes and it's difficult for him, he'll get double reward. But don't be like the munafiqeen. That's my advice. The revert, ajami, don't be like the munafiqeen. Don't just sit down and say, I'm going to. You just have to get started. وَمِنْهُمْ أُمْيُونَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ الْكِتَابَ إِلَّا أَمَانِيَ وَإِنْهُمْ إِلَّا يَظُنُّونَ. The munafiqeen, they don't know anything about the book except at-Tamanni. We hope this, we hope that. That's all we're going to do. Wishful thinking. You're not going to learn how to read until you get involved, until you do it. So you young brothers in the reverse, turn away from these people who are busying you with the takfir. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهِ. Turn away from those munaqashat. And people are mashghulun with that. Turn away from the people of al-Jarh wa ta'deel. Al-Jarh wa ta'deel, and you can't read Surah Al-Fatiha. Al-Jarh wa ta'deel is from the most difficult sciences of ilm al-hadith. And you're going to love people and hate people based upon principles you don't understand. Whereas if you got into a Qur'an class with someone who knows the Qur'an, after 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, you can clearly measure how much benefit you got. You started here, and now you're over here. And after a year, you can measure it. As for Jarh wa Ta'deel, 3, 4, 5 years, and you're going backwards in your knowledge. It's from the Shaitan. What is the best way to defeat Jihad al-Nafs? To try to practice the religion, like Ramadan. Ramadan has been legislated, the Siyam of Ramadan, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. If you fast, everyone here is on a high level of consciousness about Allah. We don't do in Ramadan what we do outside of Ramadan. That's a fact. The Salah. What does the Salah do? تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنْكَرِ. If you're praying Salah correctly, it stops you from doing lewd deeds and evil deeds, if you do it correctly. The correct Aqidah, you know Allah is Al-Basir, Allah is Al-Alim, Allah is Al-Sami', Allah is Al-Qawi, Allah is Al-Jabbar. If you really know that, Allah sees and hears and He knows and He's going to pay you back, you're going to stand before Him, it'll make you make jihad against yourself. And even if and when you make mistakes, you know that Allah is Al-Tawwab and He is Al-Afu and He loves Al-Afu. And you know that He is Al-Latif and He is Al-Ghafur Rahim. You make tawbah to Allah Azza wa Jalla. So Jihad al-Nafs comes with practicing the deen, the ibadat of Islam. Lastly, in the Quran there is a verse that has reference to being blind when brought in front of Allah. Does that refer to memorizing the Quran and then forgetting it, or just forgetting the rules in the Quran? I believe they're referring to the statement of Allah Ta'ala, وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةٌ ضَنْكًا وَنَحْشُرُهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ أَعْمَى قَالَ رَبِّ لِمَا حَشَرْتَنِي أَعْمَى وَقَدْ كُنْتُ بَصِيرًا قَالَ كَذَلِكَ أَتَتْكَ آيَاتُنَا فَنَسِيتَهَا وَكَذَلِكَ الْيَوْمَ تُنْسَى. The one who turns away from the dhikr, he will be raised up. He's going to have a life that is difficult, straitened, problems. And he's going to be raised up Yawm al-Qiyamah blind. It will be said, he will say, oh my Lord, why did you raise me up blind when I used to see? It will be said to him, my ayat came to you and you forgot them. So as a result, today you're going to be forgotten. Some of the ulama use this as a dalil of the iqab of the person who forgot the Qur'an. Some of the ulama of Islam, they use this as a dalil for the one who memorized and then he forgot. But he forgot why? He forgot because of ihmal and taqsir. He forgot because he didn't make muraja'a. He didn't take care of the Qur'an. Ta'ahadu bihadha al-Qur'an. فإنه أشد تفلة من الإبل في عقلها. You have to keep going over the Qur'an because it'll run away. He didn't do that, so he forgot it. He forgot it. So because he forgot it, he'll be forgotten. Some of the ulama use that, but there are no clear ahadith that are authentic that there is an iqab, adab for a person who forgot the Qur'an. Forgetting the Qur'an is not a nice thing to do, but some people forget because that's just part of the nature of Bani Adam. Even the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to read sometimes, he used to make some mistakes in his recitation. He would say to Ubay ibn Ka'b, did you pray with us? He said, yes. He said, why didn't you taftah alayya? Why you didn't correct me? He was shy to correct the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So yes, some people do use that as a dalil. نكتفي بهذا القدر ونسأل الله تعالى أن يوفقنا وإياكم لما يحب ويرضى. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.